For political reactions, we are still here on the precinct. Athol Trollip, the parliamentary leader of ActionSA. I see he's also distracted by the Mariba band. But of course, Athol, firstly, let's start with this pomp and ceremony that is behind us. There has been talk that, the scaling down of this pomp and ceremony in order to honor those fallen soldiers in the DRC. As ActionSA, have you got any indication how will that commemoration happen?
No, there was some discussion about scaling down, especially the military procession. But my feedback is, and I've been watching them practicing, it doesn't look like they're going to scale it down. And I think what's happening here is that we're trying to project an image that we have a professional defence force, but we don't. We know that the budget for the South African National Defence Force has been systematically cut over many years. Our performances in operations in other countries have been identifiable with losses of human lives. So we really don't have a very good Defence Force reputation. And despite all the commitments made by the Minister about the fact that our country and its sovereignty is safe, we don't believe that as ActionSA.
And what would you expect from the President to announce in that regard in terms of capacitating this endeavor?
Well, it's not really the President to make announcements about capacitating. We as Parliament have got to do some introspection and have a look at how much money we're giving the Defence Force. What the President must do is appoint somebody who's a competent minister. We've got Angie Motshekga, who destroyed education. She has no military experience. She's the Minister of Defence. I was in a Defence Force committee this week where she was being grilled about the fact that we've lost troops' lives unnecessarily, and there's no evacuation plan. There's no casualty evacuation plan. The logistical support to our troops there, food, water, infrastructure, firepower, backup power, artillery support, air support, nothing. So, and next to her was a Deputy Minister. Deputy Minister Holomisa, he was a general once. He just sat there, he was bemused. Why? Because he's a Deputy Minister. He's got no real speaking role. He's like a sock puppet. We as ActionSA believe we should have no Deputy Ministers. We should be trimming our cabinet and making sure that there is money available to make sure our troops are properly resourced and that our military defence force hardware is serviceable. Our hardware is not serviceable.
There's going to be a lot of talk, I guess, when it comes to the speech tonight around the issue of growing the economy and creating jobs. Of course, we've seen plans before, but they don't seem to be having the desired results. As ActionSA, what advice would you give to the President in terms of growing the economy and creating jobs?
Well, I think this is going to be the acid test tonight, because this is the first time that we have an ANC president addressing the nation while they're no longer in control. So we've got a government of national unity. There are partners there. And tonight we will see whether those partners have any influence on policy direction. Because for the first 7 months, there's no indication that there's any new policy direction, especially with regards to the economy. We've got 12 million unemployed South Africans, predominantly black South Africans, who are kept out of the economy. Broad-based black economic empowerment has failed because it's actually ANC economic empowerment. So we want to hear whether these GNU partners have any influence on coming up with new proposals about growing our economy, creating jobs. Then, of course, we want to hear what the President's going to do about lawlessness and corruption. Our NPA has been shown to be a paper tiger or a toothless tiger, really have performed very badly. No high-profile people have been prosecuted and jailed. And then, of course, there are ministers in his cabinet, ministers that are very close to the President, that have been implicated in serious corruption. Nothing has been done about them. Simelane was just moved sideways into another department, and silence about Minister Nchaveni. So these are issues of grave concern. And then, of course, our borders. Our borders are completely porous. Millions of illegal immigrants pour into this country every single year. They infiltrate the Home Affairs system. They enjoy the benefits of social security that only South Africa provides and nowhere else in Africa. So people come for that, and they do infiltrate it. It is corrupted. It's a fact. Then education. Education remains, hang on, I just need to talk about two more things. Education remains one of our greatest challenges, and it should be on every State of the Nation address priority attention.
I'm sorry, we've run out of time, Athol. I hoped that we had more time, but thank you so much for making time for us. Athol Trollip is ActionSA's parliamentary leader.